everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Maria Perez Show. Today, I have the great honor and privilege to interview a man of many titles. He's a prominent businessman, also a philanthropist, and he's also been recognized by many and acknowledged as a leading force in South Texas for its economic growth and prosperity. So my next guest is Mr. Alonzo Cantu. Thank you so much, Mr. Cantu, for allowing us to come in to your office. It's a Saturday. We know that you're a busy person and you don't have any weekends off, but thank you so much for allowing us to come here and to talk about your journey. I wanted to start off more than anything with a simple question. Who is Mr. Alonzo Cantu and how would you describe yourself?
Wow, I'm like anybody else. I like what I do. I typically work a lot, most of the time 7 days a week, and I like helping people and helping grow the valley.
So the economic growth, I want to talk to you about your journey. I want to start by asking you about your humble beginnings. We had the chance to talk a few days ago, and you mentioned to me that you were a migrant worker. Talk to us about that and how you're now a leading figure in banking and healthcare and construction.
Well, I don't know about leading anything, but I like what I do. No, I was born here in McAllen, at McAllen Labor Camp on Hackberry and McCall. We went back to Mexico because my parents and my grandparents and uncles had the business over there. But our parents wanted us to get an education here, so we came back when I was 7 years old and lived in a labor camp. And during the summers, we used to go to California to, like a lot of families do, make money for the rest of the year. And so I did that till I was about 16, 17, and then stayed here, and then went to high school here, went to college, and then transferred to University of Houston because I thought I was going to be a pharmacist, so I wanted to be. Then worked at a pharmacy one day, and I didn't like it, so I went back and changed to business, and then graduated and came here and went for a job interview. I didn't really like what they wanted to pay me, so I started my business. And then my parents were doing it at the same time. I mean, they were building houses, one or two a year. So I decided to get into that business, and then it grew from there.
We know you're a very busy person. As I mentioned, it's a Saturday right now, and you're still working. And what is a day in the life of Alonzo Cantu?
Typically, I get up about 6, sometimes earlier if I haven't done my stuff that I'm supposed to do for the next year. And I get home probably about around 9, maybe sometimes a little bit later. I don't eat at home, so I eat at home maybe 3 or 4 times a year because I don't know when I'm going to be home.
Wow.
And usually have dinner, have some meeting, and go home.
Right.
And then I'm very predictable and very routine oriented.
Right.
So I know what day it is. I can tell you what I'm going to do that day and where I'm going to be. If you can tell me what you're going to do 3 years from now at this date, I can tell you what I'm going to be doing if you tell me the day of the week.
Right, yeah.
So I'm kind of boring.
Mr. Cantu, how was it working as a migrant worker? I mentioned to you that my father was also a migrant worker in California like yourself. How was that experience for you?
Hard and difficult.
Yes.
I think probably some of the hardest work days for me have been in California, raising the vines of the grapes could ripe.
Right.
You'd have to get the vines and throw them over the rows of vineyards, and the sun would hit those grapes and they'd ripe. And they had a lot of pesticides and stuff, so it was very difficult.
You're also a person that loves giving back to the community. Out of all the efforts that you're a part of, which one are you most proud of?
I think education, the vamos.
Education. How important is the South Texas community to you, Mr. Cantu?
I think it's a community that has a lot of potential. We're finally getting recognition at the state and federal level. We have a lot more education here, and I think the key to the future of the valley is getting more universities and colleges and even two-year institutions to train and teach our kids,
right,
where they get better paying jobs and bring industry in. I think that's the key. But do we have the students? Maybe not. So is industry going to come? Maybe not. So it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? The jobs and training, or the companies?
Right. We know that you started in construction. How was that transition from construction to banking, to establishing Lone Star National Bank, and where did that inspiration come from?
Well, actually, there was an opportunity when I started my company back in 1978. I started a corporation, and we were incorporated. That's not a corporation. We were incorporated, and I started building houses. And throughout time, I used to bank at the old Metropolitan National Bank, where a friend of mine, Jim Fox, had started about the same time, and I started banking there, and it was a small bank, and I started buying some of their shares for the ownership of the hospital. And one day, Jim came and told me that some of the owners wanted to buy me out, so I said fine. So I wound up selling Metropolitan Bank and buying Lone Star Bank. So they had gotten their charter, but they hadn't opened yet. So that was the opportunity. It was just luck. It wasn't no talent.
I feel like it's a blessing as well.
I agree. Yeah.
God has His chosen people, and you were the one that was chosen to lead a successful financial institution. And that being said, I wanted to ask you what's the success that has allowed you to lead Lone Star National Bank for many years?
Well, I think it takes a village.
Right.
You have the right people at the right time and treating them fairly. And it's all about your people, how well you treat them and how dedicated they are. I think in all our companies, we have dedicated people that work hard, and we get along and think positive and try to do our best.
Right. You also mentioned DHR, which is a doctor's hospital at Renaissance. You're one of the co-founders of, it's the largest physician-owned hospital in the United States, and it's right here in Edinburgh. So why is healthcare a personal priority for you?
Well, first of all, you save lives.
Amen.
And secondly, you don't have to go out of the area to have, good professional doctors and specialists here instead of having to go to Houston, San Antonio, wherever. Why not bring the doctors here where people are? And it continues to grow. The valley continues to grow, so you need more people. I got involved with Doc's Hospital in Renaissance because originally myself and the late Mayor McCann, Jim Darling, and Dr. Lawrence Gelman owned some property here toward DHR now on Dove and McCall. And we sold 9 doctors part of the corner, and they had a surgery center. Said that they had it for a few years, and then we had the opportunity of wanting to open up another surgery center with Dr. Gelman being the anesthesiologist, and another friend of mine, Dr. Victor Haddad, got involved in doing it. And it turns out we just joined forces, and it went from a surgery center to what it is now, which is the largest physician-owned hospital in the country.
Right.
And we had 2 goals. One was to, at some point in time, bring a medical school here so we can train our kids and become doctors. And the other one was to avoid people having to leave the area for healthcare.
Right.
So I think we're partially done. I'm glad that RGB has their own medical school, and hope they do well because we want them to. But there's opportunities for other medical schools, other hospitals. I think we make the other hospitals step up to the plate to bring in the equipment they need here. Right. And so it's growing a lot for the whole community. So we need more education, more hospitals, and everything's growing here.
And I can agree with you. You mentioned earlier, a lot of people from the Valley would have to go seek medical care in Houston, San Antonio, a bigger city, right? And I can agree with you because, my father needed medical assistance not too long ago. And, a few years back, we were like, well, let's go to Houston, right? That's the first city that we think of. And as we kept making phone calls, they said, no, you don't have to go to Houston. You can go to DHR right here in Edinburgh. Yeah. And he received great medical care.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. We've been fortunate to bring great doctors from all over the world. Actually, we're a United Nations of doctors, but we're now a level 1 trauma center. We're a comprehensive stroke center. We're doing transplants. Who thought we would be doing that kind of stuff? And we got super subspecialists in training some of the greatest medical schools in the country, from Stanford to Harvard, Yale, and to have one of our big things that we want to do is bringing back your own, what we call bringing back your own. All these young guys and ladies that go off to college, want to go to medical school, we want to bring them back and to work here in their community because they know the culture and it's a lot better. So that's been pretty successful, but primarily probably in the last year, we've probably recruited over 75 doctors in all different specialties, and now we have another hospital in Brownsville. And we're also affiliated with a hospital in Starr County. And so we kind of cover most of the valley. We have about 70, 75 clinics spread from Brownsville to Starr County.
Starr County.
So I think it's helping out. And there's room for everybody. We welcome the other hospitals because there's so many patients. None of us can attend them all. So
of course.
We try to work together with them also.
Is there plans for DHR to continue to expand outside of the valley?
I don't know if we're doing outside the valley because it's a lot of headaches, let me tell you. But
yeah.
I think we better make sure we do things right here before we start growing outside the valley. But we will be growing within the valley.
Right. So we've talked about construction. We've talked about banking. We've talked about healthcare, the hospital. But you've also invested in professional sports, which is the RGB Vipers. What sparked that interest for you to invest in professional sports? Well,
first of all, I think I still sell it. A lot of housing from people from Mexico. Mm-hmm. And they come down here and they say, we love it here, the mall's great and all that, but there's not enough things to do. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the ideas of raising the level of entertainment here. It's not only sports, but also, if you notice, there's a lot more theaters and movie theaters and things to do here. The beach is now better. Mm-hmm. So I think quality of life drives people coming in, and they stay here when you have good restaurants, good transportation, good entertainment, good healthcare.
Right.
So it all ties in.
Right. I know that you are a Valley native. South Texas in general, the people from here, they're very important to you. Where do you see the Rio Grande Valley 5 to 10 years from now? Because I was gone for 4 years. I just came back a few months ago, and I come back and everything has changed.
You missed it.
Yeah.
You made a mistake.
Where do you see the Rio Grande Valley, a few years down the road?
Better than it is today, because there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of growth and a lot of positive things happening here with things in Brownsville, with Starbase and all that goes with it, and also LNG, gas and all that. And just that our hospital alone delivers 700 to 800 babies a month. So that's one elementary school a month being born here just at our hospital.
Right.
So there's a lot of opportunity, but in my opinion, what we need is more education. Right. And I think the state will take care of the electrical grid that's needed and water that may be needed. Right. But for us, I think the more we educate our kids and keep them here, the better it is. Instead of having to go out of the area to get better pay or whatever, I think everything's will be better in the next 5, 7 years, like you're saying, or whatever it is.
Right. I haven't had a chance to ask you about your parents. As I got to know you a few days ago, we had a conversation. You're a very humble person despite your success. Do you feel like your parents played a huge role in that growing up?
Oh yeah, big role.
Yeah. Me too. Our parents are everything. I'm sorry if I asked about that question. Yeah. Yeah. And how do you feel like that, as obviously as the years went by, how do you feel like that allowed you with everything that you've been able to accomplish in your life? How has that helped you?
I think nobody influences you more than your parents. Amen. So they had a lot of influence.
Yeah.
I have 2 sisters.
Mm-hmm. Amen. I can agree with you. My parents, I feel like, have been a huge part of my life. They continue to be a part of my life, and I feel like the values and the principles that they've instilled in me as a child, now that I'm a 30-year-old woman working in television for 10 years, to be honest with you, if I didn't have them, especially my mom as a woman, if I didn't have her advice, I don't know if I would be able to have the success that I've had. So I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Thank you.
I want to also kind of stay on the topic of your legacy. As I mentioned, you've had a lot of success, many accomplishments. What legacy do you hope to leave behind in both business and community?
I don't believe in legacy and stuff like that. I want to help people in as many as I can, and hopefully they'll help other people.
Right.
So,
if you could go back in time to your younger self, working in the fields, what advice would you give your younger self? What would you say to him?
Get a good education. Like I'm old, and I have a bucket list. My bucket list basically is I want to go back to school. I want to read more, and I want to learn how to play the piano. so it's not too late. But to me, the more educated you are, the more opportunities you have, because you understand how the life works. The good people and the bad people, the people are going to help you, and the people are going to hurt you.
What advice could you give, Mr. Cantu, to the new generation, the next generation in business, or the future business leaders? What advice would you give them?
Well, to me, to be honest, I mean, you got to have a good reputation. And if you're in business, you don't have a professional degree, meaning you don't have a doctor's license or CPA license or lawyer's license. It's your reputation. Business is really, it's up to you. So the better you protect your name and your business and do things right and do what you say you're going to do, the more trust you get and the more business you get. So it's all about trust and relationships.
And in your own words, what would you say is the key to success?
Work hard, be honest, be on time.
Stay humble too, right? The work ethic and the discipline, I feel like, is crucial when it comes to especially longevity. You know, somebody like you that has many business ventures, would you say that also work ethic and discipline is essential?
Definitely. Like I said, people say I'm boring, but I like what I do. I don't care if I'm boring. I'm going to do what I want to do and not what somebody wants me to do because they think I'm not having fun.
Yes.
I enjoy working. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy growing. I enjoy helping the Valley and anybody else. And I think education is the key. And of course, parental guidance. I think parents need to stay to their kids and be sure they know what they're up to.
Yes, I agree. Well, as a South Texas native, I really want to thank you for everything that you're doing for our community. And we know that it's going to continue growing, years down the road. And I look forward to that. So thank you so much. And also, thank you for allowing us to come into your space on a weekend.
I know. I don't do this, but my friend Larry told me to do it, so I listened to Larry.
Shout out to Mr. Larry Safir. Thank you so much, Mr. Cantu. And stay tuned for another episode of The Maria Perez Show. We'll see you next time.